You know, I didn't know that women can even think about committing suicide in this part of the world until I met a woman who has already written her suicide note. Like, we were shocked about all this, but she was ready to go and, commit suicide. And maybe God didn't want her to go yet. And that's exactly why we could find out about this. And a lot of women, rounded her up, trying to stop her from even going on with that kind of terrible act. Now, we often hear people talk about being in a toxic relationship, or you are toxic, or tell you that someone is toxic. Especially, maybe you hear women say that man is toxic and everything. So sometimes you begin to wonder, what are they even talking about? Toxicity? What do they mean by the man is toxic and everything? Let me simplify this toxicity and being toxic that people are talking about. It means emotional abuse. Someone who emotionally abuses another person, that's the person we refer to as toxic, especially in a relationship between a man and a woman. If a man is toxic, he is emotionally abusing his partner. It can be his wife or his girlfriend or somebody he's courting, and all those forms of relationship. But do you know the danger of this toxicity in relationship is that a lot of people ignore it because it's nothing physical. Like, emotional abuse is not something you can see physically. So when you talk about that somebody is toxic or emotionally abusing you, a lot of people just ignore it and just say, what does that even mean? It's so sad that sometimes people overlook emotional abuse because they don't know it can kill more than physical abuse. Yeah, I did some research while preparing for this video, and I discovered that emotional abuse leads to death. This will shock you. Yeah, it shocked me too, but it actually leads to death. If you want to read more about these researches, I want you to check the description box. You will see I shared all the links, so you can go ahead and read for yourself. In fact, in one of the researches, the researchers discovered that of all the IPVs, what do they mean by this? Intimate partner violence. Emotional abuse was more strongly associated with suicidal ideation. What does it mean? It led to people thinking of suicide because they were emotionally abused, even more than when they were physically abused. You see, generally, we don't see emotional abuse as anything. A lot of women just keep dying gradually until they now remain. Like, what you see is just a shell of who she was before she entered such relationship. These women who are constantly under a toxic man who is emotionally abusing them will start losing their individuality. They will start becoming useless to themselves until nothing remains of them. Based on this, in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove to you that either that your loving husband or your loving boyfriend right now is a toxic person. He is emotionally abusing you, but you don't know, or you don't even see it at anything, but this is exactly what he is doing. I'm going to prove it to you. So if you're willing, maybe it's not you are okay in your relationship, but there may be someone around you who is in this toxic relationship without even knowing. So just follow me together in this ride. Let us save this life together. But before we dive into the heart of this matter, I want to share a shocking data I found that even I personally, I was surprised. This was a report that the National Police Chief Council shared on their website. Okay, the report was tagged domestic homicide and suspected victim suicide 2022 to 2023 report. Yes, you can go to the description box below and you will find the link, and then you read it by yourself. Yeah, this is not just me talking. This is a website of the authorities where they share this report, so you can just click on it and then read more. According to this research, the victims and demographics of the victims remain the same. According to the report too, the majority of the victims were female, aged between 25 and 54 years. The majority of the perpetrators of this dastardly act were males. But aside from the numbers that I just read out, there was a statement that really got to me, proving my point of how serious emotional abuse can be. That statement read thus: today's report has also highlighted how forces need to continue to improve their approach to suspected victim suicide, including by recognizing the high risk posed by coercive and controlling behavior. Coercive and controlling behavior is one of the characteristics of toxicity. Like, a man who is toxic, one of the characters he will exhibit is coercive, controlling. He will be, when they say coercive control, you will not even know that he's controlling you because he would use it in a subtle coercion, like coercing you, and you will not even know. So, but apart from coercive control, there are other forms of behavioral tendencies that defines a toxic man. And if you are seeing these things in your man right now, whether it's your date or somebody you are courting, considering, marriage or spending the rest of your life with, I want you to really, really think hard about this. It's going to be hard to correct it when you are already in marriage. So this is the right time for you to do what? To fix this. So if you notice any of these behaviors from this man, no matter how loving, how a spendthrift he is when it comes to you, my sister, I want you to think twice about it. The first one I want to talk about is denigration, degradation, or humiliation. No matter what you want to call it, they are all the same. The man humiliates you and degrades you. The reason for this humiliation is to undermine your self-esteem and control your actions. So to achieve this, you're going to get a lot of verbal insults. He's going to insult you verbally and then take out all those, or carry out all those little actions that make you feel foolish, both in private and in public. Another way he's going to make sure you feel so inadequate and useless is by embarrassing you. Like, he's going to embarrass you in front of people. It doesn't matter whether they are his friends or your friends, or even your siblings or his siblings, like his family members. Any situation that triggers him, he embarrasses you just to make you feel ashamed. Don't forget, there's another important thing he's going to do, and that is hammering on your flaws. Look, the whole aim is to humiliate you and make you lose your self-esteem. You're not going to have any good side of you. You're not going to have any good thing to be, mentioned. But you see all your flaws, he's going to broadcast them. He is going to make sure he exaggerates them. Let me use that word, exaggerate your flaws. The second one you have to really look out for is emotional withdrawal. Look, when I say emotional withdrawal, it means denying you of those things that makes you guys emotionally connect, just to create a vacuum, to create a space in your heart, so that you begin to doubt maybe it's your actions that that are making him maybe kind of sideline you. Let me just give you an example of emotional withdrawal. We are talking of men being toxic, but some women, the way they do this is by denying them their husbands of, his conjugal rights. You know what I mean? Like, when the man is ready for the tumble, they will tell him, no, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do anything now. I'm physically weak and everything. That's emotional withdrawal. But in the case of a man, he can do it to you, or he can make sure that all those loving moments that you enjoy, cuddling moments that you enjoy with him, will be scarce. In fact, he will not even initiate it. Even when you initiate it, he's going to reject it. Another way of hostile withdrawal is to hoard information from you. If he used to share everything with you and all of a sudden he's not sharing, he is withdrawing from you and he wants you to notice. Then sometimes he can, if you ask him some questions, he will just use those monosyllabic tones. You say, do you want to eat? Yes. Are you okay? No. Do I do this for you? No. Those kind of things. And you, of course, you will feel uncomfortable. He is doing it deliberately. That's who he is. Now, let's talk about coercive control. This one is all about dominance and intimidation. According to experts, this one is aimed at making you so afraid that you will succumb to demands. Now, how is he going to achieve this intimidation and dominance? He's going to monitor you, first of all, monitoring you physically and even on social media. Of course, on social media, he's going to check all the posts you've made, not just because he wants to comment something positively, because he wants to criticize you and you will doubt yourself. Now, physically, he's going to be asking you, where are you? What are you doing? Where did you go? What have you done? Who are you with? To you, some people interpret these things as love or he's missing you. My friend, calm down. He is monitoring you and he's trying to dominate you. Another way of trying to achieve this dominance and intimidation is by, a kind of manipulating your emotion. You will hear something like, if you loved me, you will do this. Or, if I'm enough for you, you will not even try to have hobbies, or you will not even want to spend more time with your friends. I mean, I should be enough for you, but I've seen that I'm not enough for you. And to you, oh, he loves me crazily. Oh, he can't stay a minute without me. Come on. Stop lying to yourself. There's another form of control that's so popular among toxic men. They want to control your money. They want to control your source of income. In fact, they want you to be accountable to them financially. And when they didn't or can't achieve this, they will start attacking your business, they will start attacking your career. Before you know it, they want you to stop whatsoever it is you're doing and make sure you are just maybe just an ordinary person, so that they can control you that way. So these other actions are all forms of coercive control. But this one I'm going to talk about next is isolation. He's going to isolate you from your family members. He's going to isolate you from your friends. He's going to make sure that he kind of cuts off all those, cliques you have that he thinks are threatening his control over your life. Sometimes the aim of trying to cut you off from everybody is so that you start thinking that even your friends and your family members don't love you more, like they don't love you as much as he does. And the reason is, if you start thinking about this, or you start thinking like that, you are going to be depending more on him and clinging more to him, and that's exactly how easy it will become for him to manipulate you. One of the way this man is going to show how toxic he is to you is emotional manipulation. And one of the ways he's going to emotionally manipulate you is by criticizing you. Apart from criticizing you, he's going to blame you a lot. In fact, he will blame you for his own character flaw. For example, if somebody wants to correct him or say, this thing you did is wrong, why did you do something like this? Why didn't you do it this way? You are going to be shocked that that thing is going to turn around, and at the end of the day, it becomes your fault. That's who he is. Another form of emotional manipulation is shouting at you. Yeah, he will shout, like he raises his voice. If you try to kind of correct him or say, this thing you did is not good, before you know it, he's flaring up. All those things just to subdue you. That's all. You see, even if he doesn't end up beating you at that particular time, the fear he has put in you is going to take some years out of your life. What about the criticisms you're going to face of maybe what you are wearing, the kind of hair you've made? Oh my God. In fact, sometimes he may even tell you, I don't like this kind of hairs you make. Why can't you make this one? In fact, the most annoying one that is going to make you doubt your self-worth is body shaming you. If you now start talking about maybe, look at how fat you are, or maybe look at how you've lost your looks, or maybe look at, you are going to feel as if you are worthless and useless. So if your date or whoever you're caught in right now is doing all these things, I think it's the time. This is the time for you to run away, because if you eventually marry this kind of a man, it's gonna be harder. Remember what I always say: it's better you get it, you get it right from the beginning than when you now get married and now try to correct this mistake. It's never easy. Okay, let me just say that you gather the courage or the morale, like we used to say it in a joking manner. You gather the morale and then leave after marriage. Somebody asks you, why did you leave your marriage? And you say something like, that man is toxic. He was emotionally abusing me. They're going to look at you like, what's this one talking about? What's that? Is that enough reason for you to leave your marriage? You say, believe me, it takes maybe people who are well exposed, who understand the dangers of emotional abuse, to even understand what you're saying, or maybe try to understand your reason for leaving. But you see, the rest of the people, they are going to judge you. Some people are going to blame you. Some people are going to criticize you. Some people are going to side with him. Some people are going to deny you. Some people are going to say, oh, she didn't want the marriage to work and everything and all that. So that's why, no matter what you're doing now, don't enter into a long-term relationship with somebody who is toxic. You see, when I tell people to run, it will seem as if maybe I'm discouraging you from being in love and all that. But you see, when it comes to emotional abuse, it had some dire results. Like in the second study I found, the researchers actually checked 104 dating couples and found that behaviors associated with toxicity, that is emotional abuse, such as dominance, intimidation, hostile withdrawal, likely pushes the victims of these characters to suicide ideation. What do you mean by that? The idea of committing suicide becomes very sweet to them. Do you know why? Because nobody will see it as anything, even when they complain. When somebody is physically assaulting you, there is every likelihood that you will also assault them back. And you see, when you cry, you release a lot of pent-up emotion. But someone who is not physically doing anything to you, but emotionally abusing you, you're going to store these emotions inside. And before you know it, you become depressed. And before you know it, start thinking about suicide. The bitterest truth about this emotional abuse is that the victims find it difficult to tell anybody. If it's in the Western world, where maybe psychologists work regularly as normal doctors, yeah, somebody can even express these things to the doctor, and he will do something about it. But here, they will say, no. As long as he's not beating you, you don't have any problem. My friend, if that man is emotionally abusing her, one of these days you are going to look for her, you will not see her. Even though she puts up this resilient spirit that that she will not even want to consider suicide, maybe because of her Christian faith and everything, you will see her, receding or going back into her shell. Yeah, she will recede into herself. So even if you are not the victim now, or even if you are the victim, make sure you pay attention to your own emotions. Please, if it is possible, in fact, as soon as possible, run away from this perpetrator, because your life is at stake. If you know someone who is passing through this toxicity in her relationship, please advise her to leave, because she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. And make sure you don't marry a toxic person, because it's going to be a threat to your life. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe, share this video. You could be saving a life today.